Okay, in this video we're going to be building on what we've done in the previous two videos, and we're going to be simplifying surds. Okay, now in the last video I told you that the square root of a times the square root of b is equal to the root of a times b. But in this video we're actually going to reverse that, because the same rule applies in reverse. If I've got the root of a times by b, that can be split up to be the root of a times by the root of b, and that can be quite useful. So let's consider a couple of examples. Let's say I've got the square root of 50. I could think of that as the square root of 25 times by 2. And that means that I've got the square root of 25 times by the square root of 2. And that is 5 root 2. You see, what's happened there is 25 is a square number. And so I can square root it directly to get 5. Okay, let's try another example. Let's say I wanted to find the square root of 18. Well, 18 could be written as 6 times by 3. Okay, and that would therefore be the square root of 6 times by the square root of 3. But then we end up with a bit of a trouble, don't we? Because neither of these, 6 or 3, is a square number, so it can't simplify. So let's try a different alternative, right? What are two other numbers that multiply together to give 18? Well, I could try 9 and 2. And if I try 9 and 2, then what I'm going to get is the square root of 9 times by the square root of 2. And the square root of 9 is 3, so I end up with 3 root 2. Okay, so in other words, when I'm looking at these numbers here, like 50 or 18, I want to factorize them in such a way that I get square numbers as factors, because then I can simplify. All right, let's try a few examples. Square root 20. Well, I could write that as the root of 5 times by 4, 4 square roots to give me 2, so I end up with 2 root 5. Root 18 we've already done, right? I can think of that as root 9 times by 2, and so that will be 3 root 2, because 9 square roots to give 3. 75 is a bit more tricky, but if I can split that up into 25 and 3, then you should be able to see that 25 square rooted is 5, and so I end up with 5 root 3. Okay, let's just do a couple more examples, but this time a little bit more complicated. We've got 4 root 50. I can split up 50 to be root 25 times by 2. The square root of 25 is 5. So this is 4 times by 5 root 2, and that will be equal to 20 root 2. Okay, 20 root 2. Next one, let's say I've got 3 root 12. That would be 3 times by the root of 4 times by 3. And 4 can square root to give 2. So I've got 3 times by 2, which is 6 root 3. And last one, 2 root 98. Well, this requires a bit of extra thought, but I could say this is 2 times by the square root of 49 times by 2. If I square root 49, I get 7. And then 2 times by 7 is 14. So I end up with 14 root 2. Okay? All right, guys. Again, I hope that was helpful. I'll see you again next time.